Hello everybody. This is video 9 of 10. We're about to come to the end of Highway 95 where it comes into Highway 411. 411 at one time was the major road between Maryville and Chattanooga, and I guess you could say Knoxville to Chattanooga, and also going down into Atlanta. Looked like a lot of rain in that, or some water standing over there in that field to the left. There was a lot of rain in this area the last couple of days. We've had a lot of rain this year. That's why the grass is so green early in the spring. That's about to be part of the scenery. We're coming up on 411. 411 goes through Von Orr, and let me check the sign here. Madisonville, and Maryville's to the left. You could tell on that road sign. So the next city that we will go through is Von Orr, as we're now on 411. We came up 411 a few years ago, and I was surprised at all the empty buildings. This one to the left is one of several that I've seen on this highway that looks like at once upon a time it had some kind of business, but it's closed. Interstate 75, when they completed Interstate 75, it took a lot of business off of some of these highways, especially 411. The last time we were up through here, I don't know, we didn't go down to Ocoee on this road, I don't believe. But when we left Ocoee, we came back through Maryville on 411. There's so many of these roads, and I've been up and down these roads, and I'm going to explain to you the reason it's difficult for me to associate the road now with the way it used to be. I was coming on this road almost 70 years ago. So you can imagine how this road has changed. 70 years ago, I would have been almost 12 years old. So when I look around, I try to associate what I'm seeing with what I remember from so many years ago. And one of the things is when we go over the lake down here, you can imagine what this highway looked like 70 years ago. I'm 81, I'll be 82 this year in 2020. So I've seen a lot of countryside. I've seen a lot of changes. And I was around long before the interstate highway system. Even back when I was in the military, stationed in California, a lot of Interstate 40 had some sections when I went to California, when I drove out there, I went on Route 66 most of the way. So, if you've been around as long as I have, you try to do some comparisons, but it's impossible. And back then, the only thing that we had was, well, they called it Kodaking, a Kodak camera that when you loaded the film in the Kodak camera, it was on a roll. And if you happened to unroll it before you got it into the camera, it was gone because it wasn't encased the way it came about when the 35 millimeter cartridges were invented. This was back during the day, and then you would take that roll of film, send it off, and it would be developed. You'd usually have 12 exposures. And you can imagine how many, and it's usually black and white. You can imagine how many of the exposures were just junk. With the digital age, you can take 20 million photographs of one area, and out of all of those, I'm exaggerating, out of all of those, you'll get a decent photograph. There's the lake, and if you'll notice to the right, it looks like I'm not sure. I'm not going to make that statement until we can get closer. I'm trying to remember exactly how the bridge on 411 went across the lake. Now it's a 4-lane going across the lake. But there's a structure sticking out of the water over there. Could that have been the bridge? You see what I'm talking about? I can't remember. But you can imagine what this place looked like 70 years ago. It's just like going north on 25W. I guess even longer than 70 years ago, I traveled to Cincinnati on 25W. I can remember when they were grading for the interstate highway systems. In fact, I can even remember roads like this when they were built. Back then, they were 2-lane highways. But now there was a 2-lane bridge, I know, right in this area. And I'm trying to pull it out of my memory, but I just cannot. As we continue down 411, and my jabbering is just to fill up the audio portion of the video. Going into Chattanooga, I don't know if it was on this road or another road, but I'm thinking that you went through a tunnel, a short tunnel, and when you came out on the other side, you could see the city of Chattanooga. If there's anybody that knows what I'm talking about, give me a comment on this video. I'm just trying to pull out some memory. Well, I should have thought before I got down in the weeds again, trying to explain something. I believe this is Von Orr. Von Orr on 411. This is a straight shot, this highway. It's almost like from point A to point B in a straight line. I'm at a loss to say anything about Von Orr because I can't remember much about this place. I know you all understand what I'm saying because this video is just a visual thing anyway. And it's either listen to me jabber or I will put a piece of music on there that I can get free from YouTube, which doesn't have a copyright, that after you listen to it for a few times, it'd probably be annoying. So, as I've said before, that's why I'm getting away from placing music. On video 1 of 10 of this series of videos, I put a music track behind my voice, but I had already compiled it, so I couldn't take it off. So the first video, I've got a music track real low underneath the voice track, but that's the only video of the 10 that's that way. And anybody that would come in and watch one of these videos is wanting to see the countryside more than anything else. So the audio track is probably not that important. And it's not that I give you a lot of information anyway. I could do a lot more research than I do when I start these videos, but I do these videos just off the cuff. When you do that, it seems more real than to have, because anymore, if you wanted to know about Von Orr, all you got to do is put it in a Google search, and you could probably read all day about Von Orr. You don't need some guy showing you a road video to explain anything other than just personal jabbering like I usually do. Looks like that filling station or gas station to the right there has a built-in restaurant. A lot of the gas stations do that now. I can remember traveling from California. My wife and I, we traveled from Oxnard Air Force Base back in 1964, and we could not find any place to eat. And that was back before so many fast food restaurants. I've told this story before, and I'm going to retell it. The only decent meal that we got on that trip from California to Tennessee, we were in Arkansas getting ready to go across the Mississippi River, and I happened to look off to the right, and down at the bottom of a bank, someone had a restaurant, looked like it was in a double-wide trailer, and there must have been 15 or 20 pickup trucks parked around that trailer. And it had a cafe sign. And I told Pat, I said, I believe we're going to finally get us a good meal. So we pulled in, and I walked in. They had fried potatoes. They had everything. That was one of the best meals that I think I've ever eaten in my life. And the only one that was worth a flying flip during the complete trip from California to Tennessee. And this was is the last part of November of '64, because I went to Turkey in December of '64. And I can't remember if part of Interstate 40 was complete. Now, they had the interstate in California, but the most I can remember, we were traveling on a two-lane highway in the desert a lot of the times. So, and we also one time traveled from Spokane, Washington to Tennessee, never getting on the interstate. And that was in 63, I believe. We were driving a 1950 Dodge Wayfarer. One of the prettiest cars I ever had. I took it to California, and I was on the freeway between Ventura and Oxnard, going to work at the Air Force Base, and they were working on the interstate highway system there, and I guess they had a flagman who didn't really know what he was doing, and one of those haulback trucks came up to go across the road, and he instantly jumped out and started waving his flag in front of me. So I had to lock my brakes up, and I came to a screeching halt to keep from running over him. And when I came to a stop, I heard tires squeaking behind me. And a guy in a 57 Chevrolet rear-ended me. I wasn't hurt, but that was the end of my 1950 Dodge Wayfarer. And I went to Cal Worthington. I'm almost positive it was Cal Worthington. I went to Cal Worthington automobile dealership and purchased a brand new Ford Falcon. And I think I paid, it was new, off the showroom lot. I think I paid less than $1,800 for that car, if you can believe that. A Ford Falcon. It would have probably been, probably been a 64 Ford Falcon because it was new. And then I brought it back to Tennessee. That's the automobile we were. No, I'm mistaken. Yes, we did. We drove it from California. The one on. This is ending. Bye.